again, my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. It has been some time, I know. I'm back, luckily. And why do we not fuss and just head right into the video? Please grab yourself a snack, a drink, sit back, relax. Take care of yourself, you deserve a break. And let's head into the chapter for Avatar: The Legends of Percy, written by WardofWinters. Please check out their link in the bio that leads either to their to their AO3 account, to their Tumblr, or to their very own Discord server. Without any more fussing, let's start. Avatar: The Legend of Percy, Trial by Fire. Written by WardofWinters and read by Tilir. Chapter 28. The Hotel of Sandy Moons. Grover jumped back, blinking at me. You okay, dude? The truck stopped, hissed Annabeth, giving me a worried look. We think they're coming to check on the animals. We need to hide. I took a shaky breath as she vanished with her magic cap and disappeared. The olive oil fighting the blood taste in my mouth grounded me. It was yuck. Grover dove behind the feed sacks and I scrambled to follow him. I was shaken from my dream, trembling slightly as I hid behind the sacks. Grover shot me a worried look, but the trailer doors creaked open right then. Sunlight and fresh, if hot, air poured in. Man! One of the truckers said, waving his hand in front of his smushed nose. It looked like it had been broken 5 times too many. I wish I hauled appliances! He climbed inside and poured some water into a jug into the animals' dishes. You hot, big boy? He asked the lion, who snarled. Then he splashed the rest of the bucket right into the lion's face. The lion roared in indignation. Me and Grover tensed. My hand crept to my water skin as my eyes narrowed. I was still shaken by the scene the pit voice showed me, but I won't let them treat the animals like this. I could spend time considering the dream later. The trucker threw the antelope a squashed-looking Happy Meal bag. He smirked at the zebra. I noticed the taste of olive oil fade slightly. How you doing there, Stripes? Least we'll be getting rid of you this stop. You like doing magic shows? You're gonna love this one. They're gonna saw you in half. My vision went red. How dare they? Free me, Prince! Please! I flicked the lid of my water skin, but the sudden loud on the other side of the trailer interrupted me. The trucker inside with us yelled, What you want, Eddie? A voice outside, probably Eddie, shouted back.
Maurice, what did you say?
What are you banging for? Outside, Eddie yelled.
What banging?
I glowered at Maurice. He was a disgusting excuse of a human being. How dare he treat the animals like this? He rolled his eyes and went back outside, cursing at Eddie for being an idiot. The taste of olive oil returned. So it was Annabeth. She suddenly appeared next to me. This transport business can't be illegal. No kidding, Grover said. He paused for a moment, his head tilted. The lion says these guys are animal smugglers. That's right, the zebra agreed. We've got to free them, Grover said. He and Annabeth both looked at me, waiting for my lead. Open my cage, Prince. Please, I'll be fine after that. Outside, I could hear those two wasters of oxygen yelling at each other, but they'd be back soon to torment the animals. I opened the zebra's cage, then flicked my wrist, calling water from my water skin to freeze the locks on the lion and antelope's cage, shattering them. The zebra burst out, then turned to me and bowed. Thank you, Prince. I dipped my head back and raised my hand. I wasn't sure if this worked for horses, but Triton did teach me a blessing meant to guard sea animals in the ocean. I could change it just a little to fit on the land animals better. The urchinal translated to, O Pontus, with the wildest heart, grant them thy blessing to continue on this path onward safely through the waves towards tomorrow. I'd change Pontus to Gaia, the Earth Mother, and change through the waves to across the land. Oi me vua Gaia, tie ponati auru tahu povisa opun, hirupuk ie haremoroi, ri poif opep, muroi pahitit ivemu vavaf, ie muroi muroma. I felt some energy leave me, making me feel like I'd just done some hard work. Grover shot me a confused look, but raised his hands as well, saying something in goat talk. Probably another blessing. I turned to the albino lion and antelope to give them the same blessing. I wasn't certain of its effectiveness, but it was better than nothing. Just as Maurice was poking his head back inside to check out the noise, the zebra leapt over him and into the street. There was yelling and screaming and cars honking. We rushed to the doors of the trailer in time to see the zebra galloping down a wide boulevard lined with hotels and casinos and neon signs we'd just released. A zebra into Las Vegas. Maurice and Eddie ran after it, a few policemen running after them shouting, Hey, you need a permit for that! Now would be a good time to leave, Annabeth said as we heard tires screeching and screaming. The lion and antelope fled the truck as soon as Grover finished his blessing on them. More tourists screamed. I only looked back once as we stumbled out and into the desert afternoon, making sure we had our things, of course. I saw a few cars smoking, one flickering with flames. The policeman seemed to be radioing for backup. Wow, that looked bad. We kept moving. Thankfully, everyone was too interested in the wild animals to pay us much attention. We passed the Monte Carlo and the MGM, along with pyramids, a pirate ship that felt like the sea, and the Statue of Liberty that felt like chains wrapping around me. I led Annabeth and Grover away from it. The heat was getting to me, and I dug through the backpack and pulled out one of the waters from Aries. I drank half the bottle at once, licking my lips as I reluctantly put it away. I could technically drink the salt water from my water skin, but you never knew what had been through that water. I needed to preserve the water we had. I wasn't sure what we were going to do now, perhaps find a place to rest for a bit. I blinked as I noticed a faint shifting of sands drifting over me. I sniffed, noticing some sort of flowery scent in the air. Lotus blossoms? We kept moving, and I noticed how the sensations were getting stronger. The presence didn't seem malicious, just present. It was almost soothing. We kept moving, putting more distance between us and the animal escape. Along the way, the sensations, the scent and shifting sands, it felt a bit different from the Titan's shifting sands, more twisting shifts than drifting. Got clearer as we went. I let my mind wander as we walked. My dreams. The first one with Lara and Medusa. Their courting was so sweet and romantic. They really seemed in love. And Medusa said that Lara's death was because of the gods. Lara died defending Medusa. She died alone and in pain. The Titan showed me it. She died, was killed because Perseus, my namesake, decided that if she helped Medusa, she had to be just as bad. And Zeus helped him do it. But she'd fought hard. Her control of the earth reminded me of Toph. She fought so well, but once he took to the sky, she didn't stand a chance. Could I control the earth? That was something to come back to later, though it would make sense. Poseidon was the earth shaker. I shook my head. I didn't need to think about that right then. The other dream, though, the godly war, it was supposed to have happened around the same time as World War II. The gods hadn't acted like I would have expected. They were literally betting on the war. Abel, the son of Hades, was trying to find children. Were they the ones I saw in the infirmary? But he'd hurt people to do it, and the others didn't agree. It was sad. They'd all seemed so broken at the end, especially the children. It ended as a fight of Hades versus Poseidon and Zeus, just like I was told. All three of them died in the end. How come they didn't talk about that at camp? All of them gave me vague answers. Why didn't they know it? It seemed to be a major part of our history. It even made Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades swear to have no more children. Gold eyes, though. They were just like the gold-eyed Titan. I frowned, feeling like an idea was forming, but I couldn't quite grasp it. Hades' kid with gold eyes. We reached a dead end, and I felt practically buried in sand at this point and couldn't smell anything but lotus flowers. I hadn't realized the sensations were getting so strong. In front of us was what appeared to be the source of the strange sensation. The Lotus Hotel and Casino. The entrance was a huge neon flower with petals lighting up and blinking. There was no one going in or out, but the glittering chrome doors were open and spilling out air conditioning. The doorman smiled at us. "Hey kids, you look tired. Do you want to come in and sit for a minute?" I frowned at the guy, but the only things I could sense were the shifting sands and the lotus blossoms. I didn't notice any buzzing. Plus, well, he actually sounded sympathetic and worried, and that was more than any mortal around saw for. Grover didn't seem to smell any monsters. I figured it was fine, just for a short rest. I was dizzy and nauseous from the heat, and I really did need the break. We moved inside. I felt tense, very, but the place didn't seem dangerous. We took one look around and gaped. "Whoa!" Grover muttered. The whole lobby was a giant game room, an incredible one. There was an indoor water slide snaking around the glass elevator, which went straight up at least 40 floors. A rock climbing wall on the side of a building that was built inside the hotel. And there's an indoor bungee jumping bridge. There were even virtual reality suits that had working laser guns and hundreds, if not thousands, of video games, each one the size of a widescreen TV. Basically, if you could think of something game-related, this place had it. And there weren't even that many people here. There were no lines, no wait, and there were snack bars all over. We could use some of the money from Aries and the water park to buy some food. The games almost distracted me too much to notice the faint hum that filled the whole area. I frowned. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to be here. Everything seems too good to be true, and unknown magic shouldn't be trifled with. Hey! A bellhop said before I could suggest we leave again. I turned to him and reconsidered. Was he a bellhop? What kind of bellhop wore white and yellow Hawaiian shirts with lotus designs, shorts, and flip-flops? Welcome to the Lotus Casino. Here's your room key. I faltered. Did Aries set this up? There had been a faint feel of shifting sands with him. Left over from here, maybe? The bellhop had the faintest of buzzes. Annabeth hesitated as well, sharing a look with me. Something felt off. But are we just being paranoid at this point? We can't, Annabeth started. No, he said, laughing. The bill's taken care of. No extra charges, no tips necessary. He winked at us, though they certainly don't hurt. If you need anything, like extra bubbles for the hot tub, or skeet targets for the shooting range, or whatever else you could want, just call the front desk. Here are your Lotus cash cards, by the way. The man handed us each a green plastic credit card. They work in all the restaurants and on all the games and rides as well, really everywhere. I stared. Something about them, a faint metallic taste in my mouth. Those had magic. Are you sure these are for us? I asked hesitantly. If they figured out they got the wrong people, we'd be in big trouble. He flashed us a smile, though. Who else could it be for? Anyways, enjoy your stay. He ushered us to the elevator with a bright smile. You have room 7278B. I blinked. That was a really big number. Were all the other floors filled? We were in the elevator before I could really consider anything else, and it went up rapidly. Was 7,278 the number of floors? Or the number of rooms? Either way, that was kind of terrifying. This place didn't seem big enough to warrant that many room. The elevator dinged. I blinked. That was fast. We walked down the hall, because what else to do at this point? Finding our room wasn't hard, and Annabeth swiped the card to go in. I did a double take. Wow. That room was big. It was a suite with 3 separate bedrooms, a fully stocked bar with everything from candy and sodas to alcohol, it looked like. A hotline to room service, fluffy towels, water beds with feather pillows, a big screen TV with satellite and high-speed internet according to the sign beside it, a balcony that had its own hot tub, and yes, a skeet shooting machine and a shotgun. Was that even legal? The view over the strip of the desert was amazing but looked way too hot. Plus, how many enjoyed the view with a room like this? Oh, Zeus, Annabeth muttered. This place is sweet, Grover crowed. Absolutely sweet. There were clothes in the closet, and they were my size and the style Triton got me. Maybe Triton set this up? But what was with the sensations? It was like I'm buried in the desert with how much sand I could feel. It was rather uncomfortable. I shook my head. The faint buzz that covered the place made me frown too. But a lot of godly places had such feelings, right? Camp certainly did. I placed my backpack on the bed and stopped Grover from tossing Aries' backpack in the trash. It was a reward from a god. You never know how much attention they pay to it. I went through the closet, picking out some clothes. It all seemed okay, but I think it's best to keep my things with me and pack some more stuff in the bags, just in case. I did end up taking a shower, Annabeth claiming the one from her room as well. It felt wonderful after the week of just using the water from the water skin to clean off. I changed clothes, found the laundry container, and put my clothes in. I glanced at the other two. Annabeth was drying out her hair and Grover was digging through the fridge for food. Maybe we should order room service? I went through the room service. What do you guys want? I asked. Annabeth perked up. Good food? I snorted. What kind of good food? What's on the menu? She came over, looking over the menu. I frowned. The buzzing seemed stronger around her. Was that supposed to happen? Was it stronger around me and I just wasn't noticing? I shook my head. We should get steak. Oh, and they have sushi. Do you like sushi? She looked at me expectantly. I nodded. Yeah, I like sushi. I thought so, at least. I'd never had sushi with mortals, but it couldn't be that different from the fish we ate undersea, right? Awesome, she said cheerfully. I'll get 2 steaks and a seafood platter for the 2 of us, and then a vegetarian delight meal for Grover. He should like that, right? I glanced over the vegetarian delight meal. It seemed like stuff Grover would like, and carrots and lettuce and the like. There were even enchiladas. Yeah, that should be great. She moved over and ordered the food, and I moved to the TV. Flipping through the channels quickly revealed channels from Hephaestus TV. I stared for a moment. Was this a godly channel? I started looking through the Hephaestus TV channels. There was Hercules busts head, Aphrodite's love advice, the adventures of the rogue god, Nature Watch, and a few dozen more channels. There were even music channels. There was a knock on the door and room service delivered our food. We settled in to eat. This place is great! Grover cheered, digging into his enchiladas. Without him even realizing, the wings sprouted out from his shoes and lifted him a foot off the ground, then back down again. The magic in them seemed unstable. I squinted. The sand was hard to feel under the desert that is this building, but the faint tickling of feathers seemed rougher. Was the spell wearing off? So what now? Annabeth asked, interrupting my thoughts. Sleep? I hummed. Sleep. I'd gotten enough sleep to last me a while, and we slept not even an hour ago. I ate one of the slices of fish. The little list that came with said it was sashimi, tuna sashimi. I think we might as well take a break. Maybe a god set this up for us? It seems like it, Annabeth agreed. Grover nodded, munching a carrot. Yeah, maybe it's a bonus reward from Ares. I hummed. I think we should take a little break to relax, get some food, stock up on supplies. Annabeth nodded. That's a good idea. We should make a list of what we need, and maybe we can have a little fun while we're here too. We'll just take a day. We're not far from LA, so it shouldn't hurt our time much. We both agreed, Grover finishing his enchiladas. So, list. Annabeth wrote it out in ancient Greek. Clothes we could get from the closet, food the stores probably had what we needed, water bottles we agreed on. We agreed on another blanket plus medical supplies. I didn't think we needed much else, though. Annabeth agreed. So, should we go shopping now? Annabeth asked. Grover looked longingly at his card. Yeah, then we can spend some time playing games. I smiled. It was fair that he was interested. I'd never been someplace like this either. I was pretty interested in playing some games too. Annabeth rolled her eyes fondly. Yeah, games after we get supplies. We grabbed our bags and went to the store. I frowned, feeling faint sensations from one store we almost walked past. A misty buzz was the big thing, and there were other things I couldn't quite pick out. My head was hurting from all the sensations. Let's check out this store, I offered. Blinking when I realized both were drifting off, gazes caught by games. I shook my head at the buzzing and grabbed both of them, dragging them to the store. Games later, guys. Right, yeah, my bad, Annabeth mumbled, shaking her head. We browsed the store, Annabeth snagging a new backpack. I went to the drink section and raised an eyebrow at the variety. There were all kinds of things. I slowly looked through, furrowing my brows. Some of this didn't look like English or Greek, even Latin. That looked like hieroglyphics, like from ancient Egypt, and that was Spanish. But that was like runes, and that there was Arabic, I thought. I hummed. I had no idea what half of this says. Can I help you with something? I turned and blinked at the sudden feel of cool moonlight. It pierced right through the shifting sands, and while overpowering on its own, it was a breath of fresh air. A man stood in front of me, dark skin and glowing silvery white eyes. So not human. Not a monster either. He raised an eyebrow. Oh, I was trying to read the labels, but I only speak a few of the languages. His eyes gleamed. Oh, how nice. Not many find their way into my shop. His gaze flicked to the card in my hand. The card does work here, right? He flashed a smile. Nothing here costs money. You've already paid the price. Not terrifying at all. Now then, let's see. What are you looking for in particular, godling? I have healing potions, strength potions. This one will give you a burst of energy, but you'll be dead on your feet after. Oh, this one makes you able to see in the dark. He was motioning to the bottles that had hieroglyphics on the labels. Ah, and here we have some nectar. You are Greek, yes? He studied me. Mostly, I supposed. I blinked. Mostly? Here we go. Nectar, that is the staple of the Greek powers, though I do have some unicorn drought from the Romans. A basket was suddenly in my hand, made of woven reeds. I blinked as he tossed a handful of healing potions from the hieroglyphics section in, then 3 of the energy potions and another 2 of the seeing in the dark potion. Then he swept a dozen bottles of nectar and unicorn drought into my basket as well. Should I be worried about giving him things so freely? He said we already paid the price, but they're safe for mortals to use as well. The Egyptian potions, no godly materials. Now over here, he led me from spot to spot, rattling off facts about them as he did so. He seemed to like the ones related to healing. Something about giving time. You always pay the price in the end, he said slyly. So, what price did I pay for these? He flashed a smile. Time, of course. That is what all people pay in the end. Now, did you only need drinks? I shook my head. I guess medical supplies are covered, but we were gonna get regular drinks like water and some food and 2 blankets if we could, plus another backpack. He flashed a sharp smile. Of course. He guided me out of the drink section and into another that was filled with types of water. I gaped. Now then, you said just plain water? This water bottle holds enough to fill a pond. That should last you. He plucked a bottle off a shelf made of a shimmery white material and labeled with hieroglyphics. I made a mental note to learn those now and dropped it in my basket. So, so how did I pay with time? I asked as he swept me into another aisle. By entering the building, of course. The lotus eaters have paid me in the essence of those that enter my territory for a long time. In exchange, all that is in my shop is available to those who enter. I nearly tripped. Lotus eaters? Like from the Odyssey? Oh no. Now then, food. Here's an excellent set. He plucked up a lunchbox that had a snake design on it. A tete set. I traded her 3 extra minutes of moonlight in exchange for each. He dropped it in my basket. If the objects had sensations, I couldn't really feel them. By the being in front of me, I was 90% sure he was a god, had the strongest sensations of everything. How much time have I given? Oh, not to worry. Enough for pay for all of this. Now then, blankets, I have some excellent ones right over here. Did you only want 2? I scrambled after him, beginning to panic. I couldn't exactly walk away from a god, a moon god especially. He wasn't a Greek one, nor a Roman, but moon gods are hugely important. But what did he mean I'm mostly Greek? I needed to learn more about other mythologies, it looked like. I really needed to get out of here, and we were paying in time, though. We'd only been here maybe 2 or 3 hours, but I could pay for enough items that they had cost at least a day. I'll take 3, I guess, I mumbled when he looked at me expectantly. Wonderful. He dropped 3 blankets into my basket, made by Tutu. He's such a great supplier. Only costs 20 minutes of moonlight for the whole set. Ha! Set. I blinked. I had no idea why that was funny. Now then, last but not least, another backpack. He swept me off to another section cheerfully. Here we are. He handed me a backpack with a moon pattern emblazoned on it, one of my specialty backpacks. It'll survive travel through about anything and keeps the items inside unaffected by moonlight. Do you need anything else? I shook my head. No, thank you. I appreciate your help. I twisted my hands into the proper motion of gratitude. He beamed, matching my motion. Thank you for finding my shop. It's always so fun to meet godlings, especially when they pay so well. I forced a bolt of panic down. A pleasure to be here. I need to get my friends. They left a bit ago. You'll have to find them amongst the lotus. Perhaps next time we meet, we can play a game for time. He smiled at me, dangerous and sharp. I nodded. Perhaps. I quickly put everything in the 2 bags, then hurried out to find the others. I nearly slammed into some kid with black hair and gold eyes. Sorry, he called. I faltered. Gold eyes? I turned to look at the boy, but he'd already disappeared into the crowd. I frowned, but moved on. I needed to find Annabeth and Grover. I should have known better. The sensations were similar but different. Sand, yes, but something else. The moon god obviously had something to do with time, giving moonlight, but he didn't feel of sand. Was that a Greek feel? Was sand a sign of time? In that case, the gold-eyed titan, was that Kronos then? I chewed my lip as I searched through the area. It took me far too long in a place that costed you time, but I finally found Annabeth playing a game where she could build her own city. She seemed completely engrossed with it. Annabeth! I called. She didn't even twitch. Annabeth! I repeated, reaching her. I frowned. She had a strong buzz around her. I grabbed her shoulder, turning her around and looking her in the eyes. Annabeth! I said firmly. What? She snapped, annoyed. I reached for the buzzing. Hopefully this didn't go like that with that kid at Yancey. I gathered my power and shoved at the buzzing, forcing it back and off. My head was hurting. There was a brief moment of silence. No buzzing at all. A dozen people around me stumbled. Annabeth shook her head. Percy! What? Her eyes widened. The buzzing crashed back down, but not on Annabeth. How long have we been here? She asked. I don't know, I said solemnly, but according to the god in that store, we've paid plenty of time. She paled. We've got to get out of here. I nodded. Let's find Grover. We finally found him another 10 minutes later playing a deer hunting game, except it was the deer hunting the humans. He tried to shoot us with the gun. Die, humans! Die, silly, polluting, nasty person! I pushed the gun away and focused my power on him. Shoving the buzzing away was no easier this time, especially with my head pounding, making it harder. I managed, though, and Grover came back to awareness with a jolt, his eyes widening. Percy, what happened? We need to get out of here. It's a trap. I made a relieved note that the Ares backpack was still on his back, and I handed Annabeth the moon backpack. We hurried to the door. The Lotus bellhop hurried up to us. Well now, are you ready for your platinum cards? I opened my mouth, ready to tell him that we weren't accepting any cards from him anymore, but suddenly the god from the store was here. Oh, they've paid enough. His eyes gleamed. Time for them to head out. The bellhop smiled. Of course, Yarab Khonsu. The apparent Khonsu, I was remembering that, smiled brightly and ushered us out the door. He was gone when we stepped outside. It seemed like afternoon, like the time we'd gone in, but the weather was different, with clouds filling the sky and heat lightning flashing out in the desert. I swallowed and moved over to the nearest newspaper stand. Reading the year relieved me. At least we didn't lose that much time. But then I saw the day. June 19th. We've had been in the hotel for 5 days. We only had 1 day left until the summer solstice. 1 day left to complete our quest. Triton's point of view. Well, you took your sweet time, Khonsu. Khonsu smirked, stretching out lazily on the seat across from me. You didn't tell me your little brother was so interesting. His history is a delight. My eyes narrowed. You went to check on him 5 days ago. Why did it take so long? He wandered into the Lotus Hotel. Khonsu drawled. I let him out and made sure he was equipped for his quest. For dirt cheap compared to my normal prices as well. I blinked. Wait, since when did you have a store? The Lotus Hotel. A hotel where you play games, playing with your cards. Paying with your cards, he flashed a smile. They only paid me 4 days of moonlight. Normally I would have charged up to a month. You run the hotel? He shook his head. No, it's entirely a Greek thing. I just get a bonus from it. I get to keep the time from every game lost. The other day of moonlight they lost was to the hotel itself. For the room, clothes, food, and those cards, the hotel takes time, and moonlight, you know. I keep telling the hotel that connecting them straight to the company account is dumb. They'll be able to use the carts out and about without paying in time, or at least until the hotel cancels the carts. I ran through that. I hadn't known any of that. Don't you prefer playing people yourself? Oh, most definitely, and I do on occasion, but the runners get annoyed if I take the essence of too many hotel guests. Bad for business or something. Anyways, he still has a day left, so he should be fine. I focused on that now, my eye twitching. You left him. A day. Could Percy finish the quest in just a day? Khonsu nodded. Yes, though it likely would have been worse without my aid. Then again, that little brother of yours is clever. He picked up on that something was wrong with only the barest of hints. He might have figured it out on his own. I pursed my lips. Khonsu was a pain, but at least he didn't charge them for their life essence or something. He was far more known for doing that, and he was a friend, if an obnoxious one at times. Is he all right? Physically? Just fine. Emotionally? A bit strained. Mentally? You should probably invest in a therapist. Your Greeks do things in such strange ways. I just shrugged. Those are land matters. We don't act so idiotically in the sea. Khonsu hummed. Now then, that pays off my debt to you, I believe. Yes, consider the debt paid. Excellent! Khonsu flashed me a sharp smile. It was almost enjoyable, Triton. Do have fun with that little war that's brewing. Let me know if you want to play for some moonlight. Only a fool plays you for moonlight, I muttered as Khonsu vanished. Who would risk their soul to play him? My shoulders slumped at least I could be assured that Percy was prepared for whatever happened, even if he was now on an even tighter deadline. Khonsu wouldn't have taken all their time. He knew I would get my revenge for that. At least I was able to help Percy just a little. Once he was back home from camp, I'd make sure he was completely safe. And if anything happened to him, well, Zeus had never truly seen how dangerous the sea can be when enraged. Triton, Reaya? I turned to one of my messengers. Oh dear. Someone mixed up Nanmu and Nammu's mail again. I dropped my head. Of course they did. You'd think they'd be able to not mix up one of the ancient sea goddesses and the young goddess of the earth and trees from the Black Sea area, but ever since she started gaining attention 600 years ago, everyone started mixing them up. You'd almost think gods could get dyslexia with the trouble it's caused. Neither of them took kindly to it. So much paperwork. Now onto the terminologies and descriptions. As always, we have Percy's Atlantean way of speaking out his name. For the Halmaharan, we have Oime vua Gaia, tie ponati auruta ho por vi sau pun hirupuk, ie hare moroi, ri poif o pep muroi, pahitit ive muert vavaf, ie muroi muroma. Meaning, O Mother Gaia, with wildest heart, grant them thy or your blessing to continue on this path onwards safely across the land towards tomorrow that Percy has given to the animals that they freed. The suffixes are reaya, meaning high prince, and terminology-wise we have renetufet, an Egyptian goddess of nourishment and the harvest. Tutu, an Egyptian god that filled many roles, but its most important here for this role is guarding the sleeping from danger or bad dreams. Ya Rab means Lord in Arabic, amongst other things, and Khonsu is the Egyptian god of the moon who also filled a few other roles. With that, why don't you go down in the description and check out Word of Winter's Tumblr or join their Discord channel? They have quite a bit of things to share there, and they have a lot of more stories that you can seek out there as well. With that, I'll see you next time, my lovelies, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.